Everyone, welcome to our final workshop of the day with Mr. Ron Hammond from the Blockchain Association, who leads governmental relations. And so he's been working with blockchain as well as Capitol Hill for a few years now. And so he has a lot of experience in the area. And so we'll hand it off to him so he can just get started.
Yeah, hey guys. Really appreciate you guys taking time to out of your Saturday to come listen to me. I'm keeping this more also a very much an open discussion here. I'm very much an open book when it comes to all things crypto, politics, and what have you. So, Calvin, I'm not sure what would be best. Maybe talk about my background and then kind of the industry itself, and then what would you guys prefer to hear from? Okay.
I think just your background and then kind of going to more just kind of the innovation side and how, Capitol Hill is working with a lot of new startups, especially in the crypto space, as well as just in general, new tech innovation.
Sounds good. All right. Well, as y'all can probably see, I'm here in Washington, D.C. We got a decent amount of snow the past couple days. So I've been stuck here, unfortunately, battling something here. So if it's hard to hear me, I apologize. Still recovering from something here. So a little bit about myself personally. So I'm from Dallas, Texas originally, and I went to an all-boy high school over there, all-boy middle school as well. It sucked. I'm not sure if y'all have girls or guys are not in school, but sales tech schools they're kind of mid. But I was a 2.8 GPA. I mean, I was a pretty not the best student, you can say. It was a tough high school, but at the same time, definitely wasn't the most stellar out there. So I went to Creighton University out in Omaha, Nebraska. Actually really wanted to go to Pepperdine University. Thank God I didn't. But at the time I was really gung-ho to go there and thought it's all over. I'm going to, this school in Nebraska, which gave me a great scholarship. It's a great school, but it was obviously my first choice. But somehow, some way through the whole situation, I ended up transferring to the University of San Diego. Loved the beach there, probably didn't go to class at all. And then ended up going more into the political route, which was doing campaigns for state senators in Texas. Actually, one was my Eagle Scoutmaster. I didn't get the accounting internship I wanted back in the sophomore year. And so I ended up getting connected with him, ran a little bit of his campaign, and we won by some miracle, actually. And kind of got used to the campaign bug. It was actually pretty cool. So I decided to go to run actually 2 more campaigns in East Texas. And it was pretty weird, being 22 years old, 21 years old, running a state senate campaign, which is massive in Texas. They're bigger than congressional districts. And that's actually when the congressman from Texas and the Houston area saw me on the campaign trail and said, hey, you want to, try politics, try DC. And I got, I think, a B- actually in politics growing up. It was not my subject, but I want to do finance. I want to do business. It's kind of what I wanted. But hey, what a cool thing to do. I said, why not? And ended up going full time into working in that building over there for 5 years. So I worked, for those who don't know how politics works, first off, you don't have the poli-sci major. And it's more focused on the idea of constituent services and making sure that folks feel welcome, the idea that their constituents listening to them. So it's kind of like college 2.0. Actually, I would highly recommend it for anyone that's even tangentially related or interested in politics. You don't have to be, more necessarily, pro-Republican or pro-Democrat. I think it's really awesome, just as a unique experience. As you can see where I live here, this is kind of like they call it the Hill dorms. And so everyone that works on Capitol Hill is about 22 to 29. Most of the folks writing the laws these days are literally 26, which is kind of crazy. But every member of Congress has about, at least in the House, about 9 staffers. And then in the Senate, you're probably like 25 or so. But literally, it's like college 2.0. Everyone here is young. They work really long hours, and they work on really cool areas. You meet a lot of cool people. So I was about 3 years into my career on the Hill, and the man who replaced John Boehner, so that was Ohio. He was Speaker of the House, the #1 Republican, you could say, around 2016. So when he left, I worked for the guy who replaced him, and that's kind of the Cincinnati area. I'm not from Ohio, obviously, never been before. You don't have to be from the state that the member of Congress is from, but I want to work on finance issues because every single member of Congress, to their staff, they handle, a plethora of issues. So for me, I'm 24 years old here. I'm handling healthcare, finance, crypto soon to be enough, energy, taxes. And mind you, also, I'm saying all this while I actually, if you follow my story here, I actually never finished my college degree at the time. So I was ended up doing classes at Georgetown at night, which is kind of crazy thing. I went from a 2.8 GPA to end up getting to Georgetown eventually. So I would do class at night, work on the Hill during the day. And it's a pretty crazy experience. Again, so like around this time, Obamacare, the Republicans were trying to repeal it. The problem is they wanted to repeal it. They didn't really know how to replace it. And that's kind of became an issue. But I'm 24 years old, and the congressman always turns to me, he's like, so what's this like, specific thing when it comes to, Medicare drug pricing, or what's going on with this opioid prescription drug that's going to be potentially covered? It's really, really, tough stuff. But at the same time, it's such a cool experience. And that's why I say you don't have to be a political science major to really understand it. Like actually, I'd say like business, bio, it's chemistry, physics. Like these degrees really do play heavily into politics. They need those experts. And so finally, I was able to get the finance portfolio while I'm doing all these other issues. And the member of Congress is 2017. The ICO boom's happening. A lot of noise around crypto. I really didn't know anything about crypto. I bought a fake. I probably shouldn't say this out loud. Don't do this in college. I bought a fake ID of Bitcoin back in 2011. Stupidest thing I could have ever done, because it's obviously on the blockchain. But and we're 2011 in Silk Road days, and like that's apparently how kids got their fake IDs in college. But stupidest thing I ever did. But that's probably the only exposure to Bitcoin or crypto in general I ever had prior to 2017. And so it's 2017. I'm in the Capitol. And we're talking with a couple of senators, me and the congressman, and they're trying to find like a lane. Like, what's his issue? What's a member of Congress's issue that he wants to lead? And it's like, hey, I want to work on venture capital issues, capital formation. It's like, sorry, that's already taken. So we went through like a bunch of other issues like flood insurance and all these other kind of weird things. And finally, these old guys, these old senators, are like 75 years old, the senator from Idaho. He goes, like, why don't you look at this crypto thing? And I think there's more of a way, like please, like we've been here for an hour. I don't want to talk about this, no name member of Congress. So the member of Congress turns to me and goes, do you know anything about crypto, Ron? I really don't, actually. He goes, congratulations, you're going to find a way to regulate it. So you're going to spend like the next year and a half meeting everyone and trying to figure out how do you write the rules to regulate crypto? Because if the only way for crypto to actually like have a mainstream forward is that consumers feel protected enough that they can actually invest in this stuff. But also if a company screws them over or, takes their funds, there's legal recourse. And there's actually like rules in the roads and books of what can and can't business do. And so this is a, pretty daunting task. So I'm 25 years old, 26 years old at the time. And I met with all these CEOs, all these lawyers in the industry, and they helped me kind of craft a regulatory framework for what crypto regulation would look like. Where's the SEC come into play? Where's the CFTC come into play? What does it look like when you're actually holding crypto at a bank? What are the rules that apply to that? So all this stuff is brand new. It was called the Token Taxonomy Act. And so I was able to get a Democrat on board. So the first bipartisan crypto bill out there. And it was pretty exciting. But as many things in Congress happen, there's about 6,000 bills that get introduced every single Congress, and about 100, maybe that, get passed into law. And that's for a lot of reasons. People introduce bills all the time. Some of them are really stupid. Some of them are really good, but they take years sometimes to get signed into law. And so this is 2018, bipartisan. Unfortunately, wasn't going to go anywhere, but we were going to introduce it next Congress and keep the momentum going. So mind you, at the same time, I'm handling healthcare, tax, trade, technology, again, big tech, so like everything underneath the sun when it comes to those issues. And healthcare alone is tough. It's a lot. And also I was working for a Republican. So there were some times like, hey, I want to defund Planned Parenthood. And it was like I'm not the guy for that. So I decided that crypto was kind of where I wanted to be. It's the area I really liked a lot. And so I ended up going to Ripple, actually. They hired me as their first lobbyist. Which is, a lot of folks you probably know or seen through the movies, like what a lobbyist looks like. And it's completely different than what the movies have for the most part. So a lobbyist, my job now is to mostly focus on crypto policy solely, and at least at Ripple, promoting Ripple as well, but also trying to find ways to help the members of Congress and the staff write the right regulations, or at least try to educate them enough so that they feel comfortable to write the rules in the books. Because crypto finally understood as an industry, look, we need some rules in the books here, kind of like what happened with the internet back in 1996, because the Democrats then were actually really pro-innovation, and the Republicans were actually saying, this is all just porn scams. Let's just like ban this thing. And we're kind of seeing the inverse right now. We're seeing a lot of Democrats saying, this is just internet funny money. And the Republicans are being like, well, hold up, actually, I think there's like something here. So it's kind of weird to see how that political dynamic has switched. But now we're trying to work with most of the Democrats, trying to get them more comfortable with crypto, or at least comfortable enough to the situation where saying, hey, look, this is here to stay. We need to have some rules in the books, and we want to make sure that like we have also like a Silicon Valley here in the United States, because the problem is that if the rules aren't here, a lot of companies are going to go where the rules are clear, and it's not like these sketchy countries like the Bahamas or UAE or something like that. No, it's like EU, it's the UK, it's Brazil, like Australia. These countries already have regulations in place. You might have heard about the Spotcoin ETF, for example, the Bitcoin ETF that came out about a week ago. That actually has been in place in those other countries for months, almost for some cases like years now. So we're that far behind as a country, and so I'm now over at the Blockchain Association. As much as I love Ripple, I want to kind of be more doing the whole industry as itself, not just one company. And so now my job is I'm the Republican lobbyist for the Blockchain Association, and we represent about 100 companies, 115 companies now. But we range the gambit. So stable coins, we have Circle, NFTs, we have Dapper Labs, we have Coinbase, Kraken, DeFi exchanges like Uniswap. We have, just all over. Pretty much everyone that's based in the United States, at least, that's a crypto company. I'm pretty much like their point of contact on the lobbying side. So my day-to-day it's different every week. It's honestly the coolest job ever because crypto just moves so fast. And I thought we kind of want to be like a swanky big bank lobbyist years ago, but actually crypto is just like so much more fun. Everyone's just old over there. It's kind of lame, honestly. Crypto's been like the hot issue. And so a lot of my friends who actually used to work on Capitol Hill with me doing finance policy for years are giving me crap for working on crypto. They call me Captain Crypto, actually. I was like, oh, it's Captain Crypto. That guy's just working on that stupid crypto stuff. And guess what? They're all lobbyists now in crypto too, and we're all working together. So it's kind of cool. We kind of got like this like mini like frat. It's like there's girls and guys, but we're all the same age. We lobbyists live really close to each other here, and it's pretty sweet. And then again, work's right there. So most of my day looks like either I'm in this building over there, on this is the house side obviously, but Senate side's in the back. And I'm usually meeting with members of Congress or the staffers who are, again, usually my friends. And we're talking to them about, hey, here's what's happening in crypto, just to keep you informed. No, it's not all used for money laundering. No, it's not, blockchain doesn't solve every single problem in the world. Like AI is cool, but crypto's awesome. So that's kind of like my job. My job is to help members of Congress and staff move legislation forward. And then also keeping the pulse on what's happening in politics, which it's going to be a hell of an election coming up. So we'll see what happens. But I really want to keep this as open as possible for you guys. And Calvin, Cigar, let me know if there's anything you guys want me to cover. But I think the last thing I want to say is, or I guess 2 points I want to focus on is I know for a lot of you guys, you're probably high school, you're looking at colleges, or you're trying to figure things out. Don't be dismissed. I will never forget when I did get into Pepperdine. It was like the biggest gut punch ever, and I thought dude, I'm never gonna get the finance jobs I wanted, or I'm never gonna get this the jobs I wanted, or live in California. I really wanted to be in California at the time in high school, but now I look back at it. Hey, look, I had 2.8 from high school. I graduated from Georgetown. Have an awesome job. I love my job. It's the coolest industry ever. And I get to meet with some of the top CEOs, the top members of Congress. And kind of try to work on important stuff to move everything forward. So it's a really awesome career. I never thought I'd be here, and I think it's for a lot of you guys, when you're making decisions and stuff, just don't keep a closed mind, and take any door that leads to opportunity. I think it's a lot of folks have something in mind of what they're set of what they want to do. And if you told me when I was in high school that I would be working in DC as a lobbyist, I'd be like, yeah, dude, no way. I'm going to be in New York, work as a banker. I'm going to be in California, live on the coast, work as a venture capitalist or something stupid like that. But here I am, and it's been awesome. So, the last thing I'll say too is the industry is always hiring folks, even who don't go to college. It's actually a really progressive industry on that front, and understand that, hey, look, you want to make money now, you can code or what have you. We'll pay you probably more than I'm making at this point, honestly, to be go out of college. These are really good, high-paying jobs, and especially on the dev side, it really pays well. But and it's a really awesome industry, and it's really good on work-life balance compared to folks in the banks, for example. at least a lot of my friends are work from anywhere policy, which is fantastic. Or my friends who work at banks, for example, they're butts in seats till 9 to 5. And that's, if that's your thing, it's great. I mean, you're working 14-hour days on the Capitol. So it's, I'm used to it, but it's just a different space. So I'll pause there. I'm always happy to be a resource or answer any questions for you guys. But yeah, hit me with them. I'm a pretty easygoing guy.
I just want to start that off by saying that's probably one of the most fun presentations I've ever listened to. So thank you for that. Question from my side first is, especially when you started out in the industry, I'm guessing it's super, super hard to like figure out how all the regulations are going to work, especially because crypto is such a, like, I guess confusing industry at that point. So what was one of like the first major challenges you fought when you're coming into the industry?
Yeah, you guys probably deal with this too. There's a lot of know-it-alls in politics. And here's the thing, no one knows everything. And anyone that says like, oh, dude, I know everything about opioids or everything about the border or whatever, it's like, you don't. It's always changing. You have to accept that you're not the smartest person in the room. And you have to rely on a lot of people. So the lady who actually hired me at the Blockchain Association, Kristen Smith, who's fantastic. I actually knew her before she even started Blockchain Association, but she did a really good job bringing folks to me to learn more about the industry. And this got to be big before crypto Twitter became a big thing, or crypto TikTok, or whatever you guys are on these days. There was none of that before. And so it was kind of just reading these obscure things. I mean, Twitter obviously existed, but like it was really like the fringe libertarian folks. You're not really learning a lot like I do now. So like Twitter is one of my main sources for education. Just kind of seeing what's happening, what's like the next thing coming down the pipeline. And also politics too. What countries are we are having trouble with? How does that relate to crypto? Because there's a lot of focus on Hamas and crypto financing. So it's really about just like taking your own initiative to learn, and also find the ways to make you learn better. As I said, I'm a 2.8 GPA kid in high school. I did not do well learning through just like reading text and just regurgitating it. I'm a lot more of a visual learner, and so a lot more of seeing things, like explore my own. But whatever works for other folks, if it's audiobooks, if it's podcasts, if it's reading, if it's actually just regurgitating stuff, like by all means, just always just keep learning. And then if you're passionate about it, it'll come naturally. If it kind of feels like work, either that sometimes means like you got maybe it's not the thing for you, or sometimes it just maybe find a different approach to try to be more excited about it. So I'll at least say for my job, it never feels like a day for work. It's awesome. It's a great thing. And obviously I've had jobs that feel like work. So this is a pretty awesome experience. So I know it's kind of stupid and like, metaphysical or whatever, but that's just the how I have it on my end. What else?
Yeah, I think a question we got from our forum was, I guess like, what is your best piece of advice for a student who just doesn't know exactly what they're gonna do in the future?
Yeah. So for those who are like, so first off is to create the network. Like your network is as good as you're going to get, especially in DC. I mean, it's all about who you know. I mean, that's how I got into Georgetown. I was actually looking for interns, and I reached out to the lobbyists for the university, like, hey, look, I need help finding good interns. Do you mind like pointing me into the direction? We got coffee, we chatted, and then I mentioned about the whole thing, like not going, like finishing college yet, and I was going to go to SMU probably. And he's like, well, why don't you apply to Georgetown? And then also just shoot me an email when you're done, and then like you're good to go. I'm like, there's no way. And it actually did. I was like, man, how the hell did this happen? That's an extreme example, but like, when I tell folks who I at least get coffees with or I meet with here in DC from all walks, whether you're high school, college, still working on the Hill, is especially if you're looking for a job down the road. Like, so let's just say you're graduating. Let's say you're a senior in college or a junior in college. If you're a junior in college, you're gonna be looking for a job in May, and you're reaching out to, first off, reach out to people. Don't be surprised if they don't get back to you. I do my best to get back to everyone, but I do miss some things here and there just because I have a lot of outreach. And then when you make those connections and meet with folks, I always tell people, look, send me an email like at once every quarter or once every 6 months, and it's just like a quick reminder email of like, hey, I exist. And you just want to do a quick, hey, hey, my name is Ron. We got coffee 6 months ago. Just want to let you know I'm finishing up my classes for my junior year. and going to my senior year, and I'm really interested in working on crypto or working in politics or something like that. So at least for me, job opportunities come all the time, or I hear folks who are my friends who are leaving certain jobs, and their first question is like, I got to find a replacement. And then for me, it's like, when I get those emails, it just kind of sticks in your mind, like, oh, like I know Calvin's going to be graduating from school in like 5 months. We'd love to hire him in May when he's done with school, or maybe we can hire him now and he can just, finish up part-time and then just go full-time once he's done with school. And so it's kind of, just reminding folks you exist. I wouldn't do it. LinkedIn post is fine, but I think sending an email to someone, as traditional and old school as it is, you're not bothering them that much. They can look at it at their own time, but it also reminds them of who you are, and to kind of keep that cadence going. So again, once every 3 to 6 months, it's a good way, especially for you, if you like meet people you think are be going places or who can help you down the road. Definitely do that, and definitely reach out. I know reaching out is kind of hard out of the blue, but again, I do my best responding to as many folks as I can. I think a lot of folks do the same thing too.
Yeah, funny story. I actually met Ron once on a trip in DC, I think 2022 summer. And so we got lunch. So it was great. It was great talking to you.
I was right over there, man. It wasn't that far away.
Yeah. So yeah, anyone who has any other questions, go ahead.
And same goes
Yeah.
TC come up. I'm always happy to reach or grab drinks or grab coffee. You guys are too young, so grab a lunch or something. Sorry, go ahead.
I don't know if you can hear me. I joined a bit late because of issues I had, but I enjoyed what I saw. And I guess my question was, I remember I heard you say that you didn't even like intend to actually even do crypto as a lobbyist. What is it that you've enjoyed, I guess, so much about your job and being in crypto that you've actually fully embraced what they gave you to do?
Yeah, so actually, when I was working on Capitol Hill, that's where I got the crypto portfolio, or like the crypto issue. And again, it's a pretty rare situation where like we were the first ones there. Then there are other members of Congress who were eyeing it, but we were kind of like, plant the flag. This is bipartisan. It should be a Republican issue or a Democrat issue. And at least for me, going on the lobbying side, I was like, look, I actually like this one issue area a lot, but I'm being swarmed with like other issues, like other political BS, like the border wall, health, or repealing Obamacare or something like that. So I was like, I want to focus just on this one area. This is a cool sector. As much as I love the credit unions, or I love the banks, or I love, the hospitals and pharma, or whatever you want to say, like I like crypto. These guys are fun, they're energetic, and they're smart, and like it's a different sector, and they're doing really cool shit. Stuff. You guys get it here. So like, so on the lobbying side though, for me, it was more just like, I just found the attraction of like the company you're with and the people you're hanging out with and the people you're meeting with. Like I met with the Winklevoss twins, for example, at least being with a member of Congress, the upside is like, you get some pretty cool meetings. We met with Kevin O'Leary, we met with Pomp, we met with, Jeremy Allaire from Circle, Brian Armstrong, Vitalik, like, you're just like, you're meeting with all these really cool people. And, and even like if they were like the startup founders who were 30, or they were like the crypto, kings like Vitalik who are a little older, not much, I guess. But the idea was just like, look, they're all really chill. They're all really engaging. They want to actually be here. Like, they're not trying to use like some other, like a veteran cause or a DI cause like to like forward their agenda. It's like, no, it's like sincere. Like this is like actually real people solving real problems who just need regulation. And like, as a Republican, it's kind of weird being like, actually, as a Republican, we need regulation. People are like, what? So, and I think that's kind of cool to be on the forefront of that. So, and again, like I have a lot of friends who are on the comm side of crypto, and like it's so much stuff is happening. The ETF, the SEC got hacked 2 weeks ago. Like there's gonna be some legislation moving in Congress pretty soon that's gonna get a lot of headlines. All the Binance stuff, FTX. I, for better or for worse, like hung out with SBF a lot up here. The guy was so weird. And he wasn't part of the Blockchain Association. We thought he was a little sketchy, and it turns out we were right. But I got some stories of SBF. That guy was weird. But it's just like cool stuff like that. And I think that this is why I was so attracted to that. Not just because everyone was like, so senior and stuff, but just the energy of the people that came, and the people I deal with every day. And also just like, there's also that last mentality of, politics is very much like this. Traditional finance is like this, where it's like very delegated. Like, hey, you can't, if you were an intern, you shouldn't be talking to the CEO or the exec or whatever. And like, we don't have that really, at least in like my experience at crypto. Like even when I was at Ripple, I was like, had a pretty good terms with Brad Garlinghouse. Like, he knew me by name, and we like had a good cadence. Like it's a very much of a more welcoming environment than I've seen in any other like industry. So let alone politics too. That place is a mess. So it's pretty cool. Sorry, I hope that answered.
Thank you for
a little vague though.
No, yeah, that completely answered my question. Thank you
No.
for answering it. I also found really interesting how like to help the companies, you actually need to give them regulations. So it was really interesting. Also, my sister goes to Georgetown, so hearing you like seeing you like rep it so well made me really happy. So thank you.
Oh, that's awesome, man. She's actually do you know what year is she? Sorry, out of curiosity.
She's a sophomore right now.
Okay. Yeah, I'm like doing some Georgetown mentorship program next week. So I have like two students, but I think they're both juniors. So that's awesome. Yeah, Georgetown's awesome. It's well, it's actually an hour away from here because it's like 5 miles away, but traffic is terrible. So it's an awesome spot. What else? Any other questions?
I just had a quick question. So I see like you're really enthusiastic about your job, like you love what you do. So like a lot of other people like they're always like complaining or whatever. So what would be like your one piece of advice to like, so we're high school students, right? So what would be your one piece of advice like get to like the position you are, it's like happy while also doing what you're doing?
Yeah. I mean, look, like I'm very happy. I love my job for the past like 4 years, I guess, in a blockchain association. But it wasn't always like that. I mean, Ripple, I had some management issues. And on the Hill, like the Hill's awesome. It's a great experience. But I mean, my day would start at 5 o'clock in the morning. I would drive the member of Congress to congressional baseball practice because the members of Congress play each other in baseball, and I was the coach for the Republican team, or one of the coaches. And then you work, so you meet with all the members of Congress, you're throwing baseball, then you're it's fun. It's a great experience, but you're tired. You've been up since 5 o'clock. And then you work probably till around 9 p.m. And it's a little, and you're doing meeting after meeting after meeting. So like you grind a lot. And then on Capitol Hill as well, like every single day, there's like a reception or a party or a like small like after work networking function. And so your days are like 14, 16 hours sometimes. So you grind, and mind you, it's fun. But you're also making government salary money. And it's, I didn't live in this apartment until I became a lobbyist, obviously. I was living in the slums. But it was kind of, you got to grind for it. And you just got to see the bright side here. And I guess lastly too, it's just like, if you're not happy with your situation, I always say like, if you're able to, change it. I didn't come from, a lot of money. My parents had 3 younger siblings underneath me. So I had to grind all my way through. I mean, I worked weekend jobs, I coached kids flag football. But I did things I wanted to do. And I was like, hey, look, if I'm gonna do a second side hustle here, I'm not going to be scooping ice cream like I did in high school at Baskin Robbins. I'm going to do something like I kind of want to do. And I thought coaching would be kind of cool. I ended up coaching like 3 members of Congress's kids, and I became like friends with the members of Congress. So it's kind of cool. And like, there's obviously, I'm not going to like lobby them or anything like that, but it's like, hey, like me and Jody Arrington from Texas, like we're boys. So it's a pretty cool thing. So like, I guess the advice would be, look, find your, put yourself in a situation you think you're going to enjoy yourself. If you're not enjoying yourself, take it from a guy who went to 3 different colleges before he got his undergrad degree, move on. And if you're going to have to do something, like if you're going to have to hustle to get some money, or you're going to have to take a second job, or you're going to have to find a way to support yourself, try to put yourself in a situation you think you're going to enjoy yourself the best, or at least grow and see like, what's like the cool opportunities. Because even when you're working these long hours and you're tired as hell, when, it was like Paris Hilton would walk by the hallway and you're just like, oh, that's Paris Hilton. Like, that was kind of cool, actually. Like, it's just like random stuff like that happens like all the time in politics or in DC. But it happens in New York, happens in Miami, happens in San Francisco. Like it just put yourself in that situation that you want to do. You think you're going to be happy, and grind for it.
Thank you so much.
And just the question in the chat. So what do you think about AI's effect on blockchain and crypto in the next coming years?
Yeah, AI's, maybe for you guys, like that's like the new thing. I will say in DC, like crypto was kind of like the cool thing for about 3 or 4 years. And about last year, the AI became like the hot new issue. A hot new issue compared to like healthcare and all these other industries. Like, it's pretty cool. We are a top dog, but AI is awesome, and there's a lot of cool like opportunities there. I was I guess the upside for my career is that I was kind of like early, at least when it came to crypto. And a lot of the folks who I mentioned I worked with who kind of came to crypto a little on the later side, whether it be in politics or whether through comms or whether through marketing or business development. The upside, they were a little more stable jobs. The downside is they kind of like lost like being like the first pioneers. Like right now, like I had a old coworker who was actually doing AI policy. He was actually writing legislation on AI 10 years ago, 5 years ago. And like now, like he's like the hot, like he was US Chamber of Commerce. He is now like the top dog. Like he waited for this moment and like AI's here. And so I would say to do the two routes, either look at, kind of like what's the next thing after AI, is it quantum? Is it going to be more the Web3 side of things still? We really haven't seen NFTs really like launch as much on the utility side, but I think we're going to see more on that front. Kind of like seeing what's like the next cool thing in the industry. But at the same time, like for AI, like here and now, they're going through the exact same issues that we went through for crypto. Like they're doing a whole roundtable, like actually they have done one a couple times recently. But I did that same thing back in 2018. So I'm like, oh, okay. So soon enough, someone's going to go bankrupt in AI or someone's going to create some fraud. And then all of a sudden, like AI is going to get like a reckoning like FTX did for crypto. So at least for my end, it's going to be kind of fun to watch them go through their hurdles. But at the same time, I think, I talked to a couple companies who are working on some like applications to bridge AI with digital identity through blockchain and crypto, which I think is pretty cool. We'll see how those play out because I think there's still a lot of folks who are using the word AI just to hype up anything. It's like, if you put the word AI next to it, then like you're golden for fundraising. And so we'll see where it plays out on that front. But regardless, I would definitely keep the focus on, if you're like, for you guys, look at AI, look at crypto, but also kind of look at what's next. Like when you guys come out of college, like what's going to be the industry that's going to hire you, whether you're a dev, business development, sales, where do you guys want to be? And again, it'll be a little more high risk for some of those like more, on the edge firms. But again, the pay is usually pretty well. The people you work with are small, so you have a lot more seniority for a young age. And it's fast paced. And like those, if you like a challenge, if you like the energy, if you like, every week being different for work and not doing the same tasks repeatedly all the time. So basically, if you have ADHD like me, it's great. Like, I think we should look at that industry and say, where can I find myself in it? And of course, like there's no specific role sometimes. It's just kind of saying, what's out there and talking to folks. And then, like I said earlier, building that network of people that when the time comes, you can say, hey, I want to start my career. I want to go into this industry. Where should I be looking? And that always helps.
Yeah. Solid answer. Okay.
Um,
Any other questions before we let Ron go of his misery? No, I'm joking.
Come on.
I had a kind of slight follow for that. So talking about like the entire networking aspect of it, first of all, like I resonate with you on the flag football part. I've been coaching for the last 2 years on the side. It's just but also I know we're all probably towards the younger side, regardless of like college students or high school students. So what would you say is the best way about like growing that network specifically and meeting new people who are within the industries that we want to go into?
Yeah, I'm not sure how y'all's high schools work. Again, I went to an all-boy high school with 40 guys that was the same 40 guys since fifth grade, and it was taught by like priest, and I wasn't even Catholic. So like I have a very atypical high school, middle school career. So maybe my advice is a little traditional, weird, off. So take it with a grain of salt. But like for you guys, there's two angles here. One would be, learn to work, learn to grind, learn to hustle. Again, I mentioned I scooped ice cream at Baskin Robbins, but like I love the idea that you're already coaching at your age. Like if you enjoy it, man, go for it. Like and really hype it up. And then seek new opportunities. I think it's always for a lot of folks, it's kind of exciting to be like the first to do something. So for you guys, like in these like crypto clubs you're organizing, I started my first or restarted the finance club in my high school. No one did it. I was like, it was extinct for about 5 years. And I said, you know what, I'm just going to bring it back. And even if anything, it looks good on the resume. And that's true. It did look good on the resume. But it was at least something like, hey, like, I'm not afraid to take the first step. And even if it doesn't come to much, like, hey, like I organized like a couple of meetings and like 5 people of the 40 guys in my class came. That's, fine. And I was kind of dismayed, but at the same time, I was like, hey, look, that's actually, it doesn't matter. Like, look, you did what you did. This is your first foray at it. Take the risk, go for it. And I think the model I always have too is like, don't settle. Just like always just try to to reach the best, you got to understand your limitations. So like your version of success, might not be a 4.0 GPA. Like I tried for years, did not even get damn close to it. But and you got to find other things to really strive for, at least like say like, hey, like I'm not going to be the smartest here, but I'm going to excel where I know my skill set is. And it takes some sometimes to find that. But at least for me personally, like I can talk to a freaking wall. And the joke, at least with the Blockchain Association, is I can't write. Like half the time I do a tweet, it's like a grammar error. But you know what? Like I found my skill set, and I think that's important for everyone to do is like find your skill set and lean into it. I wasn't always this like outgoing either in high school, so sometimes it develops over time. But it's always good to lean into what makes you you. If you think people like you for, or if you find people like you for a certain skill, you find that you enjoy a certain thing, hone that skill. It's better to be a specialist than a generalist.
All right. Any other questions from
Any
anyone?
other questions or girls? Yes, girls. Sorry.
All right. Looks like it's all clear. So
Fantastic. Well, we'll give you guys 5 minutes to enjoy your Saturday. But I'm on LinkedIn. I'm on Twitter. Feel free to guys DM me. I get a lot of DMs for better or for worse from scams and so it's crypto. So make sure if you do like reach out, feel free to just mention you're a part of the program so like I can still find it. But yeah, Calvin, sorry, thanks for having me, guys. Really appreciate it.
back to you. Thank you so much,
Thanks
and
so
have
much.
the rest of your day.